Going to be tough. We're in a tough, contentious time, but we can do this, and we will do this. And we're going to get the election right on November the 3rd, and we're going to keep this country in a recovery mode and a rebound that will make 2021 an epic year. And frankly, I think we're going to see some really strong recovery later this year. Don't know when it's going to be. I've been looking at numbers. I got bleary-eyed. I was up late last night looking at statistics. I was kind of drowning in the data. And I want to share some of that data with you a little bit today as we thank you for joining us on this Wednesday, May the 13th, 2020. We got a lot today. Man, do we have a lot to cover. The Democrats' $3 trillion stimulus package. I love this. Marijuana or cannabis is listed 68 times in their bill. 68 times they're concerned about marijuana. 68 times. They want to make sure different categories of illegal immigrants are paid in the Democrats' package. They put together a wish list of all the progressive ideology talking points, and they're hoping that in a crisis, a lot of people on their wish list will get paid. And it's a stunningly audacious move on Nancy Pelosi's part. It's bad. Really, I want you to think about something on the issue of illegals getting government money. The government intentionally destroyed the economy. Our government shut small businesses, large businesses, entrepreneurs. The government did this. You can't blame the shutdown on coronavirus. Yes, coronavirus led to a series of decisions that many countries around the world made. But our government said, as Anthony Fauci and Susan Birx and others ran to the president and showed them that in that model that showed the potential of millions of deaths, we better shut the country down. And we can debate that, and we will always debate it. We'll debate the shutdown for the rest of our lives. But as we look at Great Depression kind of numbers, the government did that. Make no mistake and never forget it. Now, a section of the government, a wing of the government, wants to take their decision and they want to take our money and give payouts and cash money to people who are here in the country illegally. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. People are being let out of jail because of coronavirus. Paul Manafort, it was just reported, the former Trump campaign manager, who they just went after, and he's not in the jail. He was under the floor of the jail. He's in home confinement now. They let him out. 70 years old. He was serving his sentence at a low-security federal prison in Loretto, Pennsylvania. Because of his health risk, he's on his way home to be with his wife. He was sentenced, if you'll remember, government went after him, and they got him. He pleaded guilty to foreign lobbying and witness tampering and tax fraud, conspiracy. They gave him 7 years. He's 70 years old. So they're letting people out of prison, but yet if you own a hair salon in Dallas and you want to stay open, they're putting her in jail. Tell me that any of it makes sense. Yesterday, Monday, I was pretty angry. I came to work livid about what NBC's Meet the Press did. Chuck Todd, to me, is one of the worst of the worst. I think he is very, very dangerous. Millions of people watch Meet the Press. It has for years been sort of the gold standard of the Sunday morning talk shows. He's a hack. He's an operative. He's biased. He attacks and interrupts and goes after any Republican or any conservative. He gives a pass to the Democrats. He's not fair. He has no journalistic integrity. And what they did Sunday with Bill Barr was definitely a bridge too far. They played a clip that was shortened to make it look like Bill Barr, in answering the question of Catherine Herridge over at CBS, they played a clip that appeared to show Bill Barr not claiming that history will acknowledge that they upheld the rule of law. In fact, Chuck Todd literally said on the panel after they played the shortened clip, if you'll remember, "Oh, Bill Barr, what an answer. He didn't even say anything about the rule of law." He literally said something, talked about the rule of law if they'd have played the whole clip. They did not do so. It was deceptive. Millions of people walked away from Meet the Press Sunday believing that the Attorney General doesn't even care about the rule of law as it applies to the prosecution and the conviction of General Michael Flynn and the ultimate desire to throw out the charges. They got caught. It reverberated. This obvious act of transparency resonated with Americans, and Chuck Todd, who was off on Monday, finally addressed it yesterday.
Break. I wanted to talk for a moment about something that occurred.
Here's what he said as he addressed this real big example of media malpractice. Here's Chuck Todd's apology yesterday on NBC.
Break. I wanted to talk for a moment about something that occurred on Sunday's edition of Meet the Press. During the program, we aired a soundbite from a CBS News interview with the Attorney General, Bill Barr. In the bite that we aired and commented on, Mr. Barr was asked how he thinks the history of his decision to end the prosecution of the former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn will be written. Mr. Barr answered, quote, "History is written by the winner, so it largely depends on who's writing the history." In the full version of the interview and transcript, he went on to say, "But I think a fair history would say that it was a good decision because it upheld the rule of law." Now, we did not edit that out. That was not our edit. We didn't include it because we only saw the shorter of 2 clips that CBS did air. We should have looked at both and checked for a full transcript. A mistake that I wish we hadn't made, and one that I wish I hadn't made. The second part of the Attorney General's answer would have put it in the proper context. And had I seen that part of the interview, I would not have framed the conversation the way I did. And I obviously am very sorry for that mistake. We strive to do better going forward. And we'll be right back.
Now, I got a pretty straightforward rule about apologies. I think they should be accepted in good faith. I have no idea what the intent was behind the apology. We never will. For all I know, it was a good faith effort to try to set the record straight and deliver a heartfelt apology. I don't know. Nothing that I believe about Chuck Todd in terms of the way they deliver Meet the Press will change. I've seen too many episodes. I've seen too much nonsense to ever change my mind on that. But I absolutely think that Chuck Todd was correct and honorable in apologizing. That's the right thing to do, and he did it. And I just want to make sure that we take some time on this show, since we spent so much time on this Monday pointing out the hypocrisy and the inaccuracy and the journalistic malpractice against the Attorney General, doing continual damage to this country and damaging the administration every chance they get. I do think it's important that you heard his apology, and I, for one, think people should accept it. Welcome in. Maybe you disagree. Let's find out. 800-655-MIKE is our number as we welcome you in here in the ReliefFactor.com studios. Lots of breaking news. This is a place you do not want to miss today. We're going to cover everything we can with headlines and the breaking news and what to make of it all. That's what we do each and every day, and I'm glad you're along for the ride. Again, our number, one open phone line right now, 1-800-655-6453. Do you accept Chuck Todd's apology and close the chapter on that, close the book on that chapter, or do you not? Let me get your reaction to what Chuck Todd said yesterday on NBC. 800-655-MIKE, call or text, your voice, your perspective, your reaction, coming up.